Your local time is 7:40. No, I will not. My watch decided to jump in as well. It is 7:40, time for a quick look at weather and traffic. Just a quick reminder, we do have a guest coming your way in just a few minutes. Abby Chestnut's going to be in studios to talk about her therapy animal, a rat that is actually up for a potential recognition from pet partners. We'll talk a little bit about these therapy animals that exist to help folks with whatever you might be dealing with. And I got to tell you, if it weren't for dogs, I come home and no matter what, I know I am immediately loved, and they tell me just how much they missed me, and that makes me feel kind of important. So we'll talk about that in a minute. 52 degrees. It's 7:42. We'll take a quick 2-minute break. When we come back, Abby Chestnut joins us next.
It's a new year.
And good morning. 44 minutes past the top of the hour. It is my pleasure to welcome a guest in our studios. First time talking about this organization and first time meeting this individual. We've got Abby Chestnut. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you in studios. We're going to talk about, well, pets first and foremost, but special uses for some of those pets.
Yeah.
Let's talk about therapy animals, because we hear sometimes people may assume they know what that means, but there's actually different categories of service animal, therapy being one, but sometimes we get them mixed up with what other animals might be used for. So can you kind of give us an overview?
Yeah, totally. So we see service animals, the dogs that help people, like mobility-wise, but therapy animals are the ones you see in hospitals. They are there, like they're trained to help other people emotionally. And there's also emotional support animals, which is it's a lot different, but that's usually what you'll see, and it gets confusing really often.
So like somebody, like let's say an Iraqi vet, somebody suffering from PTSD may have an emotional therapy animal to help keep them mentally in check or emotionally in check.
Correct.
Whereas somebody who might be in the hospital feeling a little down because they're alone, you bring a puppy or a cat or maybe an exotic animal, and it picks them up, and these animals are trained to be safe around and maybe even cuddle with
Exactly.
people.
Yeah, they're trained just for that specific situation.
All right, so you had a unique therapy animal, and I'm sure it brought a lot of questions to kids, but probably a lot of laughter as well. Let's talk about your therapy rat.
Right. So a few years ago, I started working with therapy rats. I've had 3 different ones, Oliver, Vincent, and Franklin. And you might be thinking, what rats? What in the world? But these animals can be trained. And
we need to make sure that you didn't go down to New York City into the sewer system looking for these are domesticated and always been around human beings their whole lives.
Yeah, just like dogs or cats.
Right.
And that's kind of how the same thing is with therapy work. It's very, very similar, except, the rat's in a basket. It does have a leash, but it's a bit different dynamic too. But Vincent, he visited like 1,000. He did 1,000 volunteer hours and about 1,000 people visiting too, which was amazing. We did a lot of de-stressing events, like at Georgia Highlands, and we even did a library thing where it was a reading event where kids will sit down and read with a rat to increase their reading confidence, which is amazing and really cool.
So what did, in this case, because I'm imagining a rat scurrying around looking for food and constantly getting into things, but with a trained rat, a domesticated rat, how did it behave? And is there any way to liken it to another animal maybe in how it behaves?
They're actually really, really calm. And even if they're not trained, like, okay, when they're babies, it's a little difficult, but they really just chill out.
Aren't all little animals?
You're right. Yeah. I'm like, okay, come on, stay in the basket.
Yeah. Herding cats, we know that phrase, right? But seriously, once they get a little bit older and trained.
Yeah, they're really chill. What we usually do is just get them used to different environments, go out to pet-friendly places and stuff like that. And like, out and dog, I'll bring a rat. So get them used to things. You have to do that. But yeah, they'll just sit in the basket, and I'll have kids or like even adults who are like, I don't know about petting that animal. Like, you're fine. Like, I don't want to push a rat on anybody, but if you do, you get this little button so they pet a therapy rat. So it's a good incentive, and people are like, oh wow, they're actually really cool.
Have you seen people that might be a little hesitant at first just open up once they realize that their preconceived notions, once again, what you're thinking of in some like city sewer versus a domesticated animal? Have you seen that change?
Yeah, many times. So I've had many people come and say, like, you changed my idea of rats, like, completely. I had no idea they were this nice and sweet.
Excellent. Now, you are also affiliated with a group called Pet Partners.
Yes.
So tell me, what's Pet Partners?
Pet Partners is a nationally run
and
nonprofit.
Sorry for the train. It does this. It's like the waiter that waits for you to get a mouthful of food to come by and say, how's your meal? It waits for the microphones to be live to all of a sudden come through. Couldn't come through during the commercial break.
No, not at all, not at all.
But anyway, sorry, interrupted.
No, it's okay. They're a nationally run nonprofit for therapy animals. They do a lot of research, a lot of support for therapy teams. And what's really, really cool, and the only reason I was able to get into this really was that they register 9 different types of animals. You know, you got your dogs, you got your cats, you got llamas, alpacas, you got horses, pigs, guinea pigs, rabbits, birds, and rats. So, yeah, it's a lot, and that was the only reason why, because they're the only organization that does that.
And from what I understand, although your rat has recently passed away, because of all the service hours, all the service work, and maybe because you're very good at promotion, your rat is actually up for being maybe recognized. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so they Pet Partners hosts a Pet of the Year fundraiser every year. This is our second year participating. And it's just where we get together and raise funds for pet partners. And for me, most importantly, it promotes therapy rats some more, gets them back on the radar. Because I think it's very important to, like, people just don't know. And it's a unique experience. I think everybody should at least know about it.
Yeah, I hear you. We've got Abby Chestnut in studios with us. We're going to talk a little bit more about her blog. We're going to find out about where you can learn more about her adventures and some of the things she's doing, specifically with therapy rats. We'll find out what other animals might be in that silo of animals that she likes to call friends and pets. We'll also talk a little bit more about the fundraiser itself and how you might be able to contribute or learn more. When we come back, we got to get caught up on a couple of words from our sponsors, another round of weather and traffic, and then Abby Chestnut back with us in studios.
Hello.
We'll take a 60-second break, back with more with our guest in studio, Abby Chestnut, talking about her therapy animals and about being recognized as maybe the pet of the year, and we'll find out more about her blog as well.
Have your clothes looking...
Good morning, everybody. 7:53 the local time. Alan Sanders with you here with our guest in studio. We have got Abby Chestnut talking about therapy animals and her unique animal with an organization that has 9 different species of therapy animals is a therapy rat. So, Abby, let's talk about your blog where people can learn a little bit more. Maybe they're just really curious. Okay, they're thinking, okay, we know Alan. He's a joker sometimes. Maybe this is all like a pre-April. No, it's not April Fool's. This is a legitimate thing. But where can they go to learn more about your animals, your specific Vincent, who is up for Pet of the Year? So talk about that.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah, it's hard to imagine what we're talking about on the air. But if you go to healingwhiskers.com, HEALINGWHISKERS.com, we have a blog post that has all the information for the fundraiser, and there's different pages for the different therapy rats, even more description about what is a therapy rat, the different distinctions, and all of our adventures we've been on. There's tons of photos and videos just to see what we're up to and what we've done, which is quite a lot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And as far as the organization that you're kind of affiliated with that does the therapy, that tries to maybe set up the opportunities for you to go to whether a hospital or a school or wherever, the organization that is looking for the Pet of the Year, Pet Partners, can you tell us a little bit more about them?
Yeah, so they are a nationally run... the world's largest, they're basically the world's largest nonprofit therapy animal organization. And they help therapy teams with education. They do help them find opportunities to visit. And they're just really good advocates for what we do. And they try to promote it to any kind of organization or other business. Like, hey, like, this is actually really useful. Like, therapy animals just help you, lower your stress and all that kind of stuff. And they provide the information for them.
And folks, if you don't think that there's a lot to this, even hospitals today will recognize that if you have a patient that's maybe going to be there for several days or maybe going through some kind of really significant treatments, ask. A lot of times you can bring even if it's not a therapy dog, your own dog or cat, you need to ask. Because I know my dad, when he was going through the last few days of walking the earth, he was in the hospital, and we were able to bring, every time we visited, his Pomeranian that would love to sit by him and would just snuggle with him on the bed just to make him feel more comfortable. Not all hospitals, but you need to ask. I think a lot of doctors are starting to realize the benefits of keeping your spirits up for the healing process. And that goes for everybody. I mean, if something makes you feel better, you feel better.
Yeah,
even
totally.
if it's an animal.
Totally, yeah.
All right, so if somebody wants to support you, because kind of the way you would win Pet of the Year is it's a fundraising opportunity.
Yeah. So we just go to our website, and there should be a donut. Oh man, I'm thinking about food this morning.
I'm okay with a donut. Can I go get a donut?
Oh, you go hit the donate button. And it starts tomorrow, and it ends on March 15th. At the moment right now, you can join our team, which just kind of increases our presence, and that helps a lot in different little contests that they do.
HealingWhiskers.com is her blog, and the name of the organization that you want to be part of, and it's called Pet Partners. You can look them up as well. And I wanted to ask this question before we left. I mean, it's great to have kind of like the niche of being into rats. I got a buddy of mine who is into reptiles. He loves reptiles. He's part of the Georgia Reptile Society, and he tries to debunk a lot of myths, bringing snakes and lizards to different events. Yeah. But what about other animals? Are you interested in other animals, or is rats your thing?
Rats are my thing, and I've been known as the rat lady. And I've kind of accepted that. I think it's really cool. Everybody's like, oh, there's a video of a rat. Let me go send it to Abby. I'm like, okay, cool. But I mean, I'm interested in just a lot of animals in general.
I mean, you have a pair of dogs.
Yeah, I have dogs at home, and they're great.
Do you get along with the rats?
That's a good question. At first, they didn't. They are little terriers, which is really funny.
Okay, they're hunting kind of dogs. Yeah,
they would kind of look at them and kind of drool a little bit. Thankfully, but I mean, not really thankfully, one of my first rats actually tried to bite one of the dogs.
Well, the dog gets in your personal space.
Yeah, and we never had issues with like biting, except for that one instance, and that was good because the dogs got scared of the rats, and they just we'll give you your space.
Back away.
Like, okay, cool.
But I think all animals, like people, they have to get acclimated to one another as well. That's why you always want to be careful just bringing a new dog or cat into any situation.
Right.
We've adopted so many dogs over the years. We will bring one in, let the dog by itself. We'll lock all the other ones away, let it get used to the house for a few minutes, and then one at a time reintroduce. And when the other dogs go, oh, okay, this is just going to be a new member of the pack, but you got to do it methodically.
Yeah, exactly.
Abby, it is so cool to meet you. Thanks so much for coming in here today.
Thank you.
Folks, it's HealingWhiskers.com. You'll learn more about Abby, the organization, and how to support her if you would like to, and the initiative for Pet Partners. Thanks for stopping by Bartow's Morning News.
Thanks for having me.
That's going to wrap up hour 2. We've got another hour coming your way. We'll take a short break here and then back with more award-winning news content right here on WBHF.
Everyone has a dream.